think women need courage today because I heard it said best when someone said the opportunity that's out there, we don't, as women, have the courage to meet all of that opportunity. And I think right now the world is in great need. It's in great need of each of us evolving to a new level of awareness and a new level of inner strength and a new level of confidence where we can stand up for ourselves and we can speak our truth, and more importantly, we can deliver our divine gifts to the world, because each of us is born with a gift. Each of us has an imprint to leave in the world. And if we don't have the courage to leave our imprint, who are we? We're going to go to our grave with regret. And that's what's happening. 90% of the people that die today and leave the planet are living in regret because they didn't have the courage or the confidence to be who they really are. Most people, we get very guarded by the time we're 30 years old. Most of us will repeat the past over and over and over again. And women, once they understand it, women are so smart. And once they understand that they need to reprogram themselves, they need to go to that next level of strength and inner confidence, then they are willing to do the work to get there, because we're the mothers of the universe. Our job is not to just take care of our children, but to take care of all of our planet, all of our babies, all of our men, and they all need our love. And so the book is designed to take people through a spiritual awakening of the courageous warrior inside themselves. And a warrior stands up for themselves, stands up for their family, stands up for their finances, stands up for their truth, the truth of our being. And it's an exciting road, and I love to watch women step into it and, you know, all of a sudden see I can go back to school, I can get a job, I can make a living on my own, I can make a difference, I matter to the world more than just my tiny little family. Well, yes, my role is to say, you can do it. Just ride ahead, and the men will open their arms to you, and the universe will open their arms to you, and that we're ready for your spiritual power and your mothering and your instincts and your love. And when you learn to love all of yourself, when you understand that you're a divine being and that you matter, that each of us comes with some special gift. Maybe we may think it's a small gift, but it's a big gift in the scheme of things. Then we can ride powerfully into our future and stand tall and feel proud of who we are. Well, I think that people haven't done it because we become entranced with these beliefs of our culture. And we've created a world, especially in America, and I guess in many cultures, where women are secondary. They're second best. And so today is the day that women start to wake up. And we don't think about the past because the past is behind us. We think about what future can we create. When am I going to get on my horse now and ride in and not care? Because we're so trained to look for the outer world to approve of us. But what I teach is that when you approve of yourself, when you're inspired by yourself, like Rumi says, you know, when you see your beauty, you'll be the idol of yourself. When you become the idol of yourself, then the whole world sees you as that. When I was a young girl, I got addicted to drugs when I was 13. And I always wanted to be better than I was. And I struggled with drug addiction until my 20s. And when I finally went into my last drug treatment center, I'd been in 5, I woke up and knew that I was going to either die or have to become something better than I was. Because where I was mediocre and intolerable to me. On drugs, I could fantasize that I was this great person, but sober, I knew I was living a very mediocre life. That's the only way I can describe it. And from going through and conquering that addiction, and then going through a divorce, and later on, my cancer, each one has made me, I've had the choice, which we all have, women or men. We have the choice to move powerfully into the future or stay stuck in the past. And when we have resentments, and when we have regrets, and when we have victim mentality, we're stuck in the past. And if we're brave enough, that's where the courage comes in. If we will find the courage to say, how can I use this ugliness, this pain, to become a greater part of the universe, to serve, to give, then we find the courage to do it. And it's one step at a time. And my road has been very painful, and I've had a lot of bumps in the road, a lot of potholes. I have fallen deep into the pothole. But every time I crawl out, I can breathe deep and know that I have taken a step, not just for me, but for all of man and womankind. And that's how I use my life. When something happens, I say, how can I help somebody else with this? And I can only help them if I resolve it. I don't think we're ever done. And I want women to go through what they need to go through, because I don't want to make anything that I went through wrong, because it all helped me on my journey. And I think when women understand that, we don't get stuck. We just see, oh, there's a bump in the road. How am I going to deal with this bump so that I can, boulder, push it out of the way and move on in the road? But I do believe that women can learn from other women, and that if women understand the process that they're in, the spiritual process, then it makes it easier while you're in it. Even though having cancer was horribly painful for me and devastating that somehow I could get this disease, at the same time I knew that I was here to help millions of people through that process. And that's my next book. And so I think if we're committed to being all that we can be, that means that we're committed to being a part of the holy, divine healing that's wanting to happen on this planet. And when we understand that we're just a piece of that, and that's why we're here, we are birthed with this divine confidence and this courage to move forward quicker, to go faster. And like I say, okay, you're getting divorced, that's a reality. Do you want to take 6 months to get over it, or 6 years? Or never? And most people would say, okay, I'll take the 6 months. Well, it takes work to do the 6 months, and it takes courage, but they can do it. Well, all of any kind of spiritual work, really, they can do. They can do it with many teachers, but they can start with the Courage book and do the work that's in it. They can get a Courage coach. They can do a program with me or somebody else. I believe that you need structures of support. Women aren't meant to be there alone. Women like family, they like community, they like connection. And I'm a part of a big community. Right now I'm at the head of that community, but I'm a part of it. They're my family. I love them. And I know they're a net beneath me, so I can't fail. I will always be caught. I can always reach out to 10 people or 1,000 people in the community. And so I invite people to find what is that community for you that will support you, and what books, what tapes, what courses. It should be a study for life, because I think, I could just say, I'm baked, I love my life, I'm doing fabulous, I've written 9 books, everything's glorious. But I see myself as just beginning the journey. Now I want to go from here to here. Now I started here, right? And then I went to there, and now I want to go to here. Well, I'm not going to do it alone. But by reading and studying and making my intentions clear, saying them out into the world, having a structure, that's what people resist. They want to be free. They want to do it on their own. It's not happening. People who get to the top because they have coaches, or they have somebody around them, right? Nobody wins the Olympics without a coach. Nobody becomes a great football player or a great team without a coach. And when we use those as models to see that's what greatness is, then I think today women have to gather in force. And that's what's so great about what we're doing here on this website. Well, to me, the best of you today means that we're focusing and finding the best of ourselves. And most of us are focusing on some old self that doesn't even exist anymore. And so when I hear the best of you today, I think of what is the best of me today? The best of me today is my loving heart. Or the best of me today is my courageous, warrior inside. The best of me today is my willingness to allow God or the divine to move me and guide me. So I think if women come to the best of me today, the best of, what's the best of me, and use it for themselves, they can be guided on where can they go? What's their next step to be the best self they can be? Because of course, when we are our best self, our children learn to reflect that. They become their best self. Our families see it, our communities see it. People come up to me and they go, what are you doing? What are you doing? You look so good. Well, I'm working on the best of me every day. And that's where we find God, holiness, bliss, ecstasy, and happiness. Well, somebody who is at the bottom of the pile, and I have been there, being a full-blown drug addict. I mean, I wasn't like a little drug addict. I was like a full-blown. So I understand that. It takes a one step, one moment at a time process for them to, one, be able to see where they are, right? In my work, we unconceal where you are right now, the depth of the darkness, the pain, the feelings, the qualities that you hate. Because drug addicts and young mothers and that whole level of thinking you're talking about is an expression, an outer expression of an inner self-hate. And so when they understand that the outer world is a reflection of their inner beliefs, they start to see, when we distinguish their beliefs, that their belief is, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not from the right class, I'm the wrong color, I'm the bad girl, I'm a whore, I'm a angry bitch, that all of those parts come with gifts, and that's just part of who they are. And we take them through a process to start to see how their addiction keeps affirming that reality, that there are all these horrible things, and start to open up, because we are those things, all of us, and we're also the polar opposite. We're also magnificent and beautiful and loving and kind and good girls. And so it's not to get rid of that. It's to learn the lessons of that. And that's what transformation is. Transformation is a shift in perception, right? They're looking through a lens. If we put on sunglasses. They're looking through a lens of darkness. They're looking through the lens of self-hate. They're looking through the lens of no possibility. They're looking through the lens of fear. And through that lens, they only see more darkness. They're in the well. They can't see anything out of it. And our job as a society is to give them new glasses and let them see through new eyes. And that's from new interpretations, right? When that same girl who's been shooting up and has a baby out of wedlock and, you know, it's just been scumming around, has no education, sees that she could teach other girls from that same community to live a great life, all of a sudden, that person that feels worthless, all of a sudden starts to find their worth. And then we start to work on actions every day to build that worth.
You're describing yourself, aren't you? You were that girl looking through that lens, and you said the way for me to get out of here is to help somebody else.
Yes. And anybody who's been in that position that's really gotten out does help somebody else. And that's why the 12 steps is really brilliant, because part of it is the person that's been there a week can help the person that's only been there a day. And the person that's been there a year can help the person that's been there 6 months or 7 months. And that is part of their healing. And it works. It's the only thing that has really worked for addiction at a massive scale. Well, I think there's a lot of misunderstanding around this because a lot of people blame people for getting a disease. And there's so many things going on, from the environment to emotional distress and stress, which is our responsibility, right? The environment, mostly, we don't even realize what we're eating or drinking or what's going on. I think karma, what our soul's lessons are, and for me, I can see the perfection of getting cancer. Given who I am and what I'm committed to and how I teach, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. It's perfect for what I can do for the world next time, in my next book, and my next work that I'm doing to develop programs for hospitals so that everybody that's dealing with a diagnosis, a life-changing diagnosis or life-threatening diagnosis, can have a coach, a spiritual coach. And the miracle of who I am today and getting to help millions of people around the world of every culture and every language, and it's my blessing to do that. Like, I feel so grateful that I'm able to do that, like, you know, and humbled, very, you know, humbled by the whole thing, that my life, when I asked to be used, that this is what I get to be used for.